Pushkin. Hey everyone! Before we get into this episode, I wanted to let you know that you can listen to the full season of the Chinatown Sting ad-free right now by signing up for Pushkin Plus. You'll also get bonus episodes, full audiobooks, and other true crime binges from your favorite Pushkin hosts and authors. Find Pushkin Plus on the Chinatown Sting show page on Apple Podcasts or at pushkin.fm/plus. Previously on the Chinatown Sting.
Asian criminal groups are emerging on the American landscape. Law enforcement authorities, particularly federal, cannot afford to wait until these organizations have fully emerged.
If I had to summarize why these gangs exist, I can summarize it in one word: racism. That is the core, the root of the issue is racism.
Were you crying?
Yeah, because I was mad.
Mad at yourself? Mad at the rules?
Well, the whole thing, everything.
When Tina Wong was 11 years old, she met another kid with an incredible knack for getting others to do things they wouldn't normally do. Tina remembers they met while they were playing a game they called Chinese jump rope.
You put rubber bands together until you make a long rubber band, and then you got to jump over it. Something stupid like that. And then she came over with her friend. They go, "Oh, what's your name?"
Wah was a year older than Tina. She wore bell-bottom jeans. She had shoes with big rubber soles called marshmallow shoes. For Tina, it was friend love at first sight.
Yeah, she was very cute.
How so?
She was just very good looking. A lot of people said, thought she was good looking. She was good looking. And she was always stylish. And she was always fashionable.
Wah's family had immigrated to the U.S. from China when she was 6. That was right around 1965, when ethnic immigration quotas were finally banned. Wah's family lived in Little Italy, but she and Tina hung out in Chinatown, just a few blocks over. They would go to the movies together, or to the Chinatown Fair, which was actually an arcade.
They had a Ferris wheel for one, but we used to put 2 people in there.
Uh-huh.
It was 10 cents to go around.
Uh-huh.
It was pretty fun. Wah had sisters and brothers, but her and her sister used to fight a lot. So, I don't know. We just clicked.
When she was little, Tina got picked on sometimes because she was one of the few Chinese kids at her school. After immigration opened up, she got picked on sometimes by the new kids because she was only half Chinese. But once she met Wah, she found her place. Wah was the ringleader.
Sometimes we would go uptown, we would go shopping on 14th Street or 34th Street.
For what?
For clothes. And Wah was the director of what we should wear.
So you would go shopping and she'd be like, "Don't get that shirt, get this shirt."
"No, get this, it's nice, it looks good on you." Or "Cut your hair like this." She is a bossy person, but we didn't mind because she was funny. She was fun to hang out with,
They sometimes got into some light trouble. Cutting school, smoking weed, getting rides in the back of some guy's truck, holding on with ropes. What was your guys' reputation?
We were the cool girls for the poor girls because we all didn't really have money.
One time, their clique was mentioned in one of the Chinatown newspapers. It was just in passing. Tina doesn't even remember exactly why, but she does remember that the reporter gave them a nickname.
They put in the newspaper, Pink Eagles, and we were laughing. They go, "Who gave us that name?"
Why the Pink Eagles? Because did you guys even wear pink?
No.
You didn't like it?
No, that's for me, childish. I don't know.
To Tina, it didn't sound as cool as the actual gang names. For example, the Flying Dragons. As Tina talked about Wah, it made me think about how when you become friends with someone when you're growing up, they actually help determine who you grow into. And when that happens, there will always be a part of them in you, whether you like it or not. I'm Lidia Jean Kott. This is the Chinatown Sting, Episode 3, what's a friend? When Tina and Wah were in their 20s, as sometimes happens with childhood best friends, they drifted out of touch. But then, Wah reached out.
She heard that I had a daughter, so I think she contacted me somehow. She gave my daughter like a little bracelet, and then we started hanging back again.
They were having fun in the mahjong parlors. And soon, Wah had a request. Could Tina accept a package for Wah in the mail? She'd pay her a lot. Of course, the box was filled with heroin. But the money was good. Wah invited Tina on a trip to Asia with her. They actually met up with Johnny Ng there, aka Machine Gun Johnny, or Onion Head, the leader of the powerful Flying Dragons gang. Tina says she wasn't that impressed.
He was like Wah's friend. I mean, he was nice. He bought us like drinks and stuff, and took us like on a tour of Indonesia, which was all right.
After that trip, Tina started to get a bad feeling. This time, Wah was pulling her into a world she shouldn't be a part of. Wah was asking her to receive more and more packages, and Tina didn't want to. Wah had gotten too bossy.
And I just didn't want to take it no more. So I guess she stopped calling me. I stopped calling her.
This was the only time they had ever really fought. She thought they'd make up. But about 5 months later, federal agents showed up at Tina's door, and they took her into custody. She hoped Wah would help her get a lawyer or something.
She always said that she would help me if anything, and no help came, so I said, okay.
In jail, Tina ran into another woman from the mahjong parlors. That woman had cooperated and given up Tina's name. She had agreed to accept packages because she had gambling debts, and she was the mother of twin girls. Tina forgave her.
Well, I'm not going to hate her, She had to do what she had to do.
The question for Tina was, would she also do what she had to do? She didn't want to betray her old friend Wah. She knew cooperating could be dangerous. But if she went to prison, she might not be reunited with her baby daughter for decades.
Of course, you're going to take a chance, even if it's on your life, because when it comes to your kid, everybody's going to choose their kid.
But it's kind of a terrible choice because you could get killed and then you're not going to be there for your kid.
Yeah, but those are the chances you take.
The day after her arrest, Tina sat in the office of federal prosecutor Beryl Howell. They would face each other many times over the next few months as Tina was in custody.
On March 2nd, 1988 and March 14th, 1988, Tina Wang was debriefed in the Eastern District of New York. Wang stated that she became friends with Wah at a young age. In June of 1987, Wang said Wah asked her if she would like to make some money by accepting mail parcels from Hong Kong. Wang further stated that Wah gave her a few days of advance notice regarding the arrival of the mail parcel. Wang stated that
As Tina talked, Beryl listened intently. She took handwritten notes with a blue pen, her questions in one column, Tina's answers in the other column.
You hope you're getting the whole story. You do your best to get the whole story. So you do the best you can with both carrots and sticks to ensure that you're getting, the truth and the whole truth from cooperators.
Beryl wanted to know more about Wah as a means to an end. Her ultimate goal was to bring down Johnny Ng, the gangster she believed to be at the top of this heroin scheme. But to do that, Beryl would need lots of solid evidence against him. All the people she had talked to so far were too low down in the operation to describe Johnny's role, even Tina. But Beryl was pretty sure that Wah was different, that she took orders from Johnny directly, in part because she seemed to be the one directing all the women, and in part because her boyfriend, Michael Yu, was high up in the Flying Dragons gang. He went by the nickname Fox.
The hope was that people who had some direct contact with Johnny Ng would cooperate, and that would have been Wah or Michael Yu.
So Beryl had Tina's statements about how she accepted these packages of heroin at Wa's direction. Beryl had also obtained audio recordings of conversations between Wa and another woman who had accepted packages of heroin. This woman had agreed to call Wa and tell her she had received a package while federal agents secretly recorded. The actual recordings are gone, but we have the transcripts. My co-reporter, Shuyu Wang, and I read them together. You want to be Wa and I'll be the woman?
Okay.
Hello?
Hello?
I got that thing at my house.
So fast? Huh. But listen, did you see the, you know how speak pig Latin?
You must be kidding.
Yeah? That's to keep it safe, stupid. You know, they might have a fucking transmitter or bug. You never know, stupid.
So yeah, as a lawyer, what would you think if you were reading this, this wiretap?
Wa was smart. So, like, Wa this whole time was just trying to be very vague and not referring to anything, not using any names or terms. Like, that thing, put it in a bag, very vague instructions to the other women on the line. She's, like, not really communicating any details about the delivery, about the drop-off location, about what it is, even though we all know that is the drug packages.
She's like, what about pig Latin? So that way I guess she could be like, heroin, hey.
Yeah, she definitely have heard something or sensed something that is going on.
Yeah. So through these wiretaps and her conversations with Tina and other people, Beryl was gathering this evidence about Wa, but I think she was also kind of like trying to figure out who this person is and what they're like.
Right.
You know, Beryl was a lawyer at a time where it was still like not that common to be a female prosecutor. And Wa was this woman who was like operating this business, this enterprise that was affiliated with the gangs. And there weren't very many other women doing that either.
Maybe there's a level of resonance.
Yeah.
One thing in the back of my mind is, how is she able to recruit all of these women to do it? And what I found was that she was a fun, charismatic, dynamic individual. And that's part of how she was able to do it, in addition to all the other factors that went into them opting to say, yes, I'll accept a package for $10,000 to $20,000 or $30,000.
Every single person pretty much who knew Wa, and most people did, who I talked to about this story, talked about her like she was like this force, like really different from other people.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to this one guy, a former gangster, who I don't think had talked to Wa for a long time. I'm not sure. But as soon as I brought her up to him, he instantly remembered her.
She's a very, very pretty girl back then. Everywhere you go, you see her. Yeah, as a matter of fact, can I show her the picture?
He literally had a photo on his phone of her, and it was like all ready to go. Like he was just able to pull it up immediately. And it was a picture of her from the like 1980s.
Sounds like someone had a crush.
And in the photo, it's like her and her boyfriend, Michael Yu, known as Fox. And he's kind of like leaning back, but towards her a little bit. He's like a small guy. And she does look super cool. She has kind of like a mullet style haircut that I think was cool then.
Mm-hmm.
And like some like lip gloss, dangly earrings. Definitely a cool girl.
She had a style.
She just seemed larger than life. So yeah, everyone talked about Wa, like she was special. And I think that's why we really wanted to find her. Eventually, I found an address in Florida. And I flew to Florida by myself, literally just to knock on this door.
Yes, I'm looking for.
And then this woman opened the door. And I remember this because like she was wearing purple contacts. She was absolutely beautiful and a bit like threw me off balance.
Yeah, she's not looking here. Okay,
But yeah, Wa was not there. And I was like, this is it. I've reached the end of the journey.
But then what happened?
At that house, I got a phone number for Wa. I called it. And eventually, she agreed to meet up.
Don't call me on the weekends, okay? I'm out to the city, Atlantic City. Okay. If you need to go there, you want a real much, I can get you a room.
In Atlantic City?
Yeah.
We'll be right back. I had heard so much about this woman, Wa, who had convinced all these moms with young children to smuggle heroin. I wanted to hear from her how and why she did it. We're referring to her just as Wa because she asked us to only use her first name. Shuyu and I finally met her at a Peking duck restaurant in Chinatown. I had put a lot of effort in trying to find a quiet place where we could talk. Wa hated it.
Next time, go to 17. Wow.
That's a different restaurant that I apparently should have chosen. Wa is in her 60s. She has short, spiky hair. She was wearing a leather jacket, tight-ish pants. She has lots of gold jewelry and a dramatic white and beige manicure. One person I talked to told me that her theme song should be the Madonna song, Who's That Girl? And she was absolutely living up to the hype. It took us months to pin down a time to meet. She canceled a few times because, she said, she had been up late the night before, gambling.
I'm already nervous already.
Don't be nervous. Let's start with, why do you like gambling?
Why do I? I don't know. I guess when you get older, you get bored.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing moves you, not even men. So that's my adrenaline rush. That's my excitement, you know? Like when you bet, when you place money, don't your heart beat? That's where it goes. That's your adrenaline rush. That's the rush you want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I should have quit. Oh.
She did not quit. Over the years, she's been betting more and more.
I play football, baseball.
Do you watch sports?
No, only if I bet.
But Wa's true passion? It's still mahjong.
It keeps your mind occupied. You don't have to think about anything else. All you do is look at your cards and you know, focus on it so you can win. You want to win. But if you play for money, that's the excitement.
Yeah.
If you play for fun, you'd rather go to sleep. If you win, yeah, it's good. Oh, I can buy something now. I have a couple of $100. But if you lose, you go, oh my God, then where the hell did we get the money? Right. You got to go for revenge. Yeah.
I've heard that part of what makes mahjong fun is that it's an equal combination of skill and luck. You can never predict what will happen next.
How long does a game take for you?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I play like 24 hours. What are you talking about?
You do not play 24 hours, do you?
Sometimes. I don't sleep.
Wa was comfortable talking to me and Shuyu about gambling. She also told us a bit about her family. She has 3 kids. But when we asked her about her past involvement with the gangs, suddenly, she didn't know a lot.
We just hang out with them because they're our friends and that's it. That's why we're called gangs. I don't know.
I've heard from other former gang members that if you were a member of, say, the Flying Dragons, you couldn't even enter a gambling parlor operated by their rivals, the Ghost Shadows. But from how Wa talked, it seemed like she didn't really care about these feuds.
I practically hang out with all the gangs almost. When you go to school, you know them. All the gangs are like the kids. They come out from the same school. You know them all.
I've also heard that all the gang members were guys. They had girlfriends, of course, and wives, but the women didn't get involved with their activities. Again, Wa was different.
Were there other women who were like as powerful as you were in like the world of the gangs?
I don't think so.
You're the most powerful woman in the world of the gang.
I think so.
Wa's boyfriend, Michael Yu, a.k.a. Fox, was high up in the Flying Dragons. He ran the gambling parlor on Pell Street, and that parlor was kind of like the gang's headquarters. He also oversaw a bunch of other gambling parlors, including the mahjong parlors in Chinatown. Wa sometimes worked at that gambling parlor on Pell Street. Her job was to get people to keep playing. She also hung out in all the other parlors. So she knew everyone. She knew who was in debt, whose house might be undergoing renovation, whose husband wasn't paying child support, who, for whatever reason, might be interested in receiving a package in the mail in exchange for a lot of money.
First of all, you didn't think of nothing back then. You just thinking, oh, it's easy to make money. That was it, you know? You didn't think of the outcome.
Wah told us she feels terrible about bringing drugs into the country, but she does not feel bad for the woman who she brought into the scheme. They wanted money, and they knew they were taking a risk.
If you're going to make money, it must be something bad. So you got an idea already. You don't have to go into the detail.
Do you remember when you got arrested? What was that like?
It's like, what the hell? I was gambling.
On March 1st, 1988, the same day that Tina Wong was arrested, Wah was having a great day. She won $7,000. But as can happen in mahjong and in life, she was about to lose it all.
I'm coming now. From the gambling house over there. And I'll walk around the corner and like 5, 6 white people, push me in the car. I'm going, what the hell? Why? Who are they? Right there and then you don't know.
You thought you were being kidnapped.
Yeah. You're walking down the street and then you go to the car stop right next to you. And then, wow, a couple guys come out and they push you in the car. Just like that, and take off. What the hell? I thought they were the mafia. I don't know. And then they drove me to the seaport. I said, am I getting dumped in the river?
Just as they had threatened all the other women, the agents threatened Wah. They told her that unless she told them everything she knew, she was facing decades in prison. She wouldn't be able to see her kids grow up. But Wah was unmoved.
I said, I don't know what you're talking about.
At approximately 8 p.m., March 1st, 1988, Wah was arrested on the corner of Pell and Bowery Streets, New York, by Special Agents Mitesser and Flood. Wah was advised of her constitutional rights by Peter Mitesser and refused to make any statements.
The next day, Wah's boyfriend, Michael Yu, was also arrested.
On March 2nd, 1988, Michael Yu was located at his residence. When informed by Special Agent Sheehan that he was under arrest for importing heroin through the international mail, Yu stated he, quote, never received any packages. That was his girlfriend.
Wah was taken to the MCC, a jail right outside of Chinatown. It's this huge grayish building with tiny windows. It looks kind of like a square Death Star. The agents took Michael Yu there too. And Wah was not thrilled to see him.
When did you guys break up?
We broke up ever since we went in there.
Did you guys talk when you were in jail? Like, should you see each other?
Yeah, he was across the hall. Like, you could see the window. And then on the side, we used to talk to the guys on the side. I might still see him.
Wah gives me a sly look.
But you gotta pay.
Did you gamble in prison?
Yeah, we did.
A lot of people gamble because what else are you gonna do?
I lost a lot of money in there too. All those women, they got money. You could lose $4,000 or $5,000 in there playing cards.
It says a lot about Wah that it sounds like she actually liked being in jail.
Oh, I had a good time. Yeah, I tell you, a lot of the officers, they like me.
I'm sure that's true.
Yeah, they like me. Yeah. So I got I got everything I want. And I could tell them to do whatever. Some of them, they do for me.
How do you get people to do whatever you want for you?
Because I'm smart. I can convince them,
Federal authorities hoped that once Wah was in custody, she'd cooperate. But clearly that tactic didn't work. And Michael Yu, her boyfriend, wasn't talking either. So prosecutor Beryl Howell convinced a grand jury to return a 19-count indictment against them. Maybe that would get them to turn. Still, Wah did not budge. Wah tells people what to do. She doesn't let other people tell her what to do. She and Michael Yu got fancy lawyers. They were taking their case to trial. Wah was playing this one to win. After Tina told Wah she wasn't going to accept any more mail packages, the next time she saw her was at her trial. Wah, like Tina, was a mom. Tina hoped that Wah would understand that she was just doing what she had to do, but she couldn't be sure. The proceedings began on August 16th, 1988. Wah was tried alongside her boyfriend Michael Yu and 4 other people lower down in the scheme. Beryl Howell gave the opening statement for the prosecution.
This is a heroin smuggling case. During the trial, you will hear how each of the 6 defendants participated in a scheme to smuggle into the United States from Hong Kong over 150 pounds of heroin. Wah and Michael Yu were the ringleaders of this operation.
For Beryl, of course, the goal of this trial was for Wah and Michael Yu to be found guilty. Because then, she hoped, they would agree to testify against the person she believed was really at the top of this heroin importation scheme, Johnny Yang, Onion Head.
What does Beryl remember about the trial?
What Beryl remembers about the trial was that it was really far away, way out in Long Island, and she even had to get a hotel. And remember, she was new on the job, so she was by herself doing this really complicated trial with 6 defendants.
You know, I was accustomed to trying cases in Brooklyn where, you know, just walking down the hall, I could toss ideas around or say, this just happened. What did I do wrong? What do I need to do to fix it? But in Hauppauge, I was sort of by myself out there doing it. And there were no computers. So I remember, like, at night when there were motions being filed by the defense attorneys, I had to handwrite my responses.
So Wah's lawyer was Gerald Lefcourt. He's a very experienced trial lawyer. And I printed out his opening statement because I'm curious what you think about it.
Okay. Wah's counsel stated, "This is a case about Chinatown. I don't know how many of you have visited Chinatown, but it is a town." That's lame. In Chinatown, there are gangs, there is prostitution, there is gambling on levels that are very different than you or I understand. It has an old history and an old culture. You will hear in this trial proof about ancient Chinese games.
What do you think about it? It's so dramatic.
It's so dramatic, like you said.
In Chinatown, there's gangs, there's prostitution, there's gambling on levels that are different than you or I can understand.
I'm imagining like a jury of mostly non-Asian people.
It feels like he's talking to all white people who maybe, have never been to a Chinatown.
I guess like he was trying to build up some financial hardship that eventually pushed them into this position. Like you gotta got into the culture and the background and the community to understand why are people doing this, to create like a defense for his client.
Yeah. So Beryl was basically the only female lawyer in the courtroom. The lawyers for all the 6 defendants were men. And David Sheehan, the U.S. Customs agent, told me that what stood out to him was this one moment that happened between Beryl and Fox's lawyer.
I think I was on the witness stand, and he actually patted Beryl on the top of her head, like in a very condescending way. Like, "Thanks, little girl, go back to your table." And she handled it so professionally, but she said, "If you ever do that to me again, you'll regret it."
David Sheehan was like, heck yeah, you're going to regret it. And he was going to make sure of that.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he noticed that all the defense lawyers were getting paid in cash in the parking lot. If you're getting paid in cash, there's like a form that you're supposed to fill out to report it because you're supposed to pay taxes on that. And he had a feeling that they were maybe not filling out that form.
Sounds like gangster affairs.
But Beryl was so not paying attention, she had just like totally moved on.
So I was like just focused on making my arguments, the best I could, getting my evidence in front of the jury. All the other noise around me was something I probably just considered noise, and the head patting I probably considered noise. Annoying noise.
Yeah, she know what job she's out there for.
Yeah. Beryl introduced her witnesses, and, one of her star witnesses was, of course, Tina, who was going to testify about how Wah had asked her to accept these packages of heroin. Based on the transcripts, it seems like the Tina that was on the stand is the Tina that we know, especially when on cross, one of the lawyers was trying to discredit her by being like,
he said to her, don't you play mahjong? And she said, yes. And he said, isn't that an illegal gambling game? And then she said, Jewish people play. And then he had to be like, oh yeah, my grandmother plays mahjong.
Oh, wow.
And I feel like a snappy retort like that is very Tina.
If she holds the same image on the stand as how she was talking to us, she seemed calm and put together enough to be a convincing witness from what we have observed.
And I agree. When she's talking to you, it does seem like she's not embellishing. What she's saying is true. But she does often give you the feeling that she's not telling you everything. And Tina was different than a lot of the women who had been pulled into the scheme. A lot of the women accepted these packages of heroin because they had gambling debts. But I actually talked to Tina, and she said that she wasn't in debt. That wasn't the reason.
First of all, it's friendship. It's my friend, and we're in it all together, so...
And then money.
Yeah, and then the money.
So Tina did it because it was Wong who asked her, and she thought that it would maybe make them closer.
She was a good friend.
Do you think in a way she was trying to look out for you when she offered you the package opportunity?
I think so. I mean, I'm the one that has to think, should I do that or not? But, I think she was looking out. She wanted me to make money.
She thought
and
she
if
was
she
offering...
made money and I made money, then we'd be happy. And we were for a little while.
When Tina was on the stand talking about how Wong had brought her into the scheme, she could actually see Wong's face.
I could tell she was kind of mad. So I felt kind of bad because we used to be friends.
Do you think she was hurt or just mad? Or what were her feelings?
I think both.
I think she thought that Wong would understand.
Right.
And we talked to Wong about what it was like when she was in the courtroom and she saw Tina while Tina was testifying.
Of course, you don't like it, but what can you do?
Was your friendship over then?
I haven't talked to her since. What's a friend? I don't even have a number.
She seemed over it.
Yeah.
She seemed like she was like, Tina who?
Tina who? I don't even have her number.
But I still don't think Tina regrets meeting Wong.
You know what? I have nothing bad to say about her because she was a good friend. It's just that we both chose the wrong road. And then after all this happened, she went her way and I went my way.
The trial of Wong and the others took about 2 weeks. And based on the outcome, it seems like Tina was a convincing witness. On August 31st, 1988, Wong and her boyfriend Michael Yu were both found guilty of conspiring to distribute heroin and possessing with the intent to distribute. And because of the mandatory minimums, they were facing at least 10 years in prison. After they were found guilty, Wong held out for a few more months. But faced with the prospect of a decade, maybe more, in prison, in the end, both she and Fox decided to cooperate.
Michael, you saw the writing on the wall, and so that's when he decided to flip and, get the benefit of a cooperation agreement to lower the time he was facing in jail.
So Beryl started to interview her 2 new cooperating witnesses to get to the top of the ladder. She was gathering the information she needed to fashion an indictment against Johnny. But Johnny most likely had someone watching the federal docket for him. That's this calendar of court proceedings. Back in those days, you had to go to the clerk's office to see it in person. Whoever was watching could see that the next proceedings for Wong and Michael Yu were not on the schedule. If you're Johnny, you know that this can only mean one thing.
As soon as he found out that Wong and Michael Yu had flipped, he fled.
Johnny Ng was nowhere to be found, and everyone who had agreed to testify against him or about his scheme was now in danger. Coming up next on the Chinatown Sting.
My reaction at the time was, oh my God, I hope nobody on my watch got hurt. And did I miss something? Did the agents miss something about her security?
The Chinatown Sting is written and produced by me, Lidia Jean Kott, and reported by me and Shuyu Wang. Our senior producer is Emily Martinez. Additional production by Sonia Gerwit. Our editor is Julia Barton, with additional editing by Karen Shakurji. Our story consultant is Rong Xiaoqing. Our executive producer is Jacob Smith. Our music was composed by John Sung. Sound design and additional music by Jake Gorski. Our fact checker is Kate Furby. And our show art was designed by Sean Carney. All voiceover work by Telly Leong. For more information about this episode, check out our show notes or visit pushkin.fm/Chinatown. The Chinatown Sting is a production of Pushkin Industries. To find more Pushkin podcasts, listen on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you like to listen to podcasts.